Well, good morning and welcome to Qdabra's weekly webinar. This is Patrick, and today I'm very happy to introduce Kaudu Okumura, who's going to be showing you an advanced technique for a very simple topic. Kaudu, can you hear me
That's
okay?
right. Yes, sure. Thank you.
Before we get started, there's just a quick question I have for everyone, and that is, how many of your forms have dropdowns? This is a bit of a silly question to get us in the mood. Um, obviously, all forms have drop downs, so why even bother? Well, if you're not here for the drop downs, you go off and do something else. This today we're going to be talking about drop downs. Drop downs are a common component of probably every form I can think of. So glad to have you here. Looks like all of you are on board with the 100%. We have one person saying 80. We'll close that out, and we'll get the show on the road here. Kaudu, I'm going to give
Mm-hmm.
you the presenter baton.
Okay,
There
one
you
moment,
go.
please. I am going to show my screen. Let's see. I am selecting my screen here, and hope now you can see the same slide
Yep.
from the deck. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about how to create the drop-down, but in this case, data-driven drop-down list. So, okay, trying to click next. What kind of thing we would like to have? So, sometimes we want to have the drop down based on data, which means dynamic. So, just only two things is needed, like a duplication should be removed, and also we love to see the sorted list. So, let me the agenda is straightforward. I do some quick demo and we'll explain how to do that, followed by question and for why Qdabra forms. So let me jump in to the demonstration. It's really, really straightforward. For today, I prepare one dashboard for this demonstration. For demonstration, I picked a sample on a policy dashboard. So for various policy company has and status might be a kind of fixed list, like a draft or review and a publish or obsolete, as you like. But for these kind of things, you often use the drop down, which is static and that choice manually because this is static. But we have more option on drop-down list. We can use list box choice from this form or external data source as a list. And I think you've already frequently used excuse me, that kind of list, maybe SharePoint list you may create to show the drop down. However, this technique is how can we get data from the actual one? Like in this case, we have workplace, HR, legal, purchasing, or something like this. And we have totally 1, 2, 3, 4 categories selected from the actual data. We can do the same thing for owners, 1, 2, 3, 4. So for this demonstration, I would like to add one more data on this policy form. To do that, I am going to the library and okay, I'm going to add one more data, like I'd say publish and any name, webinar demo. And the owner will be the one who hasn't been the owner, maybe, excuse me, email. And as a category, I think I haven't used IT in this category here, and some description. And I'm going to submit this new one. Now, this library has new data. So I am going to refresh this dashboard. And now we're going to see this here. And also we have this new category IT appears in the category. So this is what we'd like to create. I think this is really straightforward. And just for your information, we are going to share this sample form with you. And this form also has a kind of partial string match, like an gift from this description and so on, in case if you are interested in. So this is about a quick demonstration. Do you have any questions so far?
So you're pointing the drop down at the internal though, Kat. When I looked at your InfoPath Designer screen there, it looked like you had the drop down was bound to an internal data connection, right?
It works. Because just for the simplicity for the demonstration form, I put everything is in under main folders.
Got it. How do you get the data into main?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is data structure. It's great segue to the next section. So this is the area I am going to store the drop-down items. Of course, you can create second database or something, but either works, just a tiny tweak. But this list is, of course, empty at very beginning. But yeah, this is the diagram. So we have the source data here. In this case, I use really straightforward, simple approach. So I query the policy list as the second database, second DS. So these are the items. So I'm going to get this category. This is from the source data. And from this source data, we use the Qrule command transform with Xslt. That's the main topic for today. And this will be copied to the new main data source category list here. And we we add two more features. One is remove duplication. This can be done in Xslt definition, which will be explained later. And the second thing is using Qrule's sort command. I sort this drop-down list as alphabetical order. Is this clear?
That's great. I can't wait to see how you do it.
Okay. So we have just two commands to accomplish this. And yes, Patrick's question already covered this one. So we would like to copy this data, category data, into this items in the category list. And in general, I first pick the XPath so that I can see very well. And the red one is the repeating node. In general, I prepare this to my notepad or something for the next step. But as you can see, the structure is different. So the simple copy command or move or any other, that kind of thing doesn't work. That's the reason we have to use Xslt. Okay. So before that, first of all, this is the syntax of Qdabra command transform. We are going to specify what Xslt file, definition file, we are going to use in this transform. Then, as you are familiar with, we specify source DS. In this case, we just pick from the policy and destination path to where we are going to copy this. And some magic command, exclude root, is true on this case. Now we go into the most complex and core portion of this webinar. So this is Xslt I am using for this demonstration. Maybe it's too much to explain Xslt itself. However, there are some key points I'd like to focus on. So in Xslt, of course, we can select where or which field we want to pick as a select, but also we can write a condition on select. And here, this refers to the category in the data. But on this category, the condition is not. And here, your the items you often see in InfoPath. Preceding siblings appears here. And in fact, this condition explains the category which hasn't been appeared already. So this magic condition only collect new category, which means that duplication is removed here.
But doesn't it require it to be in order? It seems like preceding sibling would require that it has to be sorted first, doesn't it?
No. First, we collect unique item first.
Okay.
Yes.
But if it's just preceding sibling is just the previous one, isn't it?
Yes, we need it because for the previous one, because once we've already have that one that appears in the preceding siblings.
Oh, I see. So it's not just the previous one; it's all the previous ones.
Oh, the previous one.
Got it.
Really interesting. So this is a magic condition to remove the duplication. And I also show in red on the repeating node so that it would be a bit easier. So we are going to have a repeating one on a category list in here to create the repeating one with category. So this is the most complex part. And yes, I also have trouble debugging Xslt in a transform. And here I also added some tips which helped me. If you are the same to me. So one thing is there are some transformation tool like a Notepad++ has an XML plugins. So this provides us a tool that we can specify XML, the source XML. So in this case, I take the XML of the source, which means that this policy here using get XML curl command and save it. And using that XML file and Xslt file, these kind of tool can generate the result. That helps.
Could you also just export the source files and get the I guess the source files have the data connection for the policy in them?
Yeah, we may do that, but because this is dashboard and I do not have submit command or so on, I rather just use a get
XML. I see.
Yeah. Yes, we can do that. Okay, and also Visual Studio should have this kind of tool, I believe. So this is tip number 1. I sometimes use to debugging this. It is really great to debug Xslt.
Do you put the get XML results in a debug section? Is that how you get it?
Debug section?
Well, how do you get the XML? When you get the XML, are you displaying it in the dashboard?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really straightforward. Because, yeah, here is my hidden debug around here. If I type something, the debug window appear. And in this command, I would say get XML, and I will write the path. Then I wonder, okay. Policies a little bit. Okay.
You can just right click it.
Yeah, it's big one, but then maybe I can get smaller one, like what's the command? Is this source or target? I have to check. I need to check, but with parameter and XPath, then this XML shows up in the result.
Okay, I see.
Area.
So
So I just copy it.
I see. I got it.
Here is I have a get XML.
The whole thing right there. The main data source. It defaults to the main data source.
Yeah, maybe I have this for the back button, so I can copy this and so on. So that's how we can get specific XML data. And also, this really helped me. And sometimes after transform, I didn't see the expected result in the target list. And at that time, I used get XML to the target XPath and found the format is a little bit different from the expected structure.
Was it the namespace that was different, or was it the actual structure?
In any case, in fact, what I heard a few days ago was it's a little bit complex. Maybe let me show my Xslt file. A moment, please. Brackets.
There it is.
Okay, this is, and what I saw a few days ago is when I tried to do everything and I thought it should appear, but it didn't appear at all in this drop down. So I get the category XML here. Then what I saw is very similar to this structure, but after every category list, I see XML and S, my equal blah, 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 blah for everywhere.
Oh, so it actually copied the namespace everywhere.
Yes, and I found out this date field has mismatch to the one that the data field or that name field or something with this form. So I just adjust this URL which matches to the namespace. So that's how I use the get XML. So this may help, even if you cannot see anything in InfoPath or debugging window, there might be something in XML level. Then get XML gives you the data and you can debug it.
So you're debugging it actually in the form, not in Notepad++.
No, not in Notepad++. Just in the form.
Just to see what it returned, to see what the problem was. I got it.
Yeah. That's some tips when you have trouble with transform command.
So make sure you add a debug section and use your get XML with the following. I guess it's just the XPath, right? It's just you just have to pass in the XPath. There's no parameter. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I thought this has, but yeah, I have a memo here. Okay, so this covers the topic for today. Any questions?
Yeah, this is a pretty advanced technique, Ado. I still am completely clueless with Xslt, so it's great to see this. I know we use it a lot. The other place we use transforms is when we're dealing with copying large quantities of data. So not just for these drop-down populations, but also when we're taking data from, like, say, a data connection that has thousands and thousands of items, and we need to copy it into the main data source for some reason, then it's a lot easier to run a transform to do that than to run an iterative copy command.
That's right. And sometimes this kind of condition or filter works really powerful. And also today's demo, I use this technique to dashboard. But this is really useful for form itself. For specific field, you may get the drop-down list from existing column of the form in a previous data. Then this technique can be used for that kind of thing still.
Cool. And how are you doing the sort? Are you doing that after you do the transform?
Yeah, after the transform. Let me show the command again. This is also pasted. Okay, but it's really easy. So the first command here is transform, and the second command here is sort. Maybe some notepad or something to show you.
You need to show us in Forms Designer.
Okay. Yeah, just use sort table with a specifying row and compare and order and the type.
Got it. Ascending. Great. Any questions for Kauto? We have a short and sweet demo for you today. That was wonderful, Kauto. Do you want to go to the next slide? So this is our advertisement. As many of you know, thank you for being here today. We're glad to see all of you, familiar faces and names. We just shipped Forms Designer 1.0 last month. We actually did most of the training in May on it. We're about to post the training content to our sister site, InfoPath Dev community site, and we should have that up for you this week. And for those of you who attended the class, we already have sent you the links to the content. So let's see, Evan's got a question. Let's just take a look at Evan's question. Thank you, Evan, for asking. This technique improved the performance of my forms when populating tons of data. So that's great. It's more of a comment than a question, but I'm glad that you said that, because this is true that whenever you've got a lot of data you're copying in, the transform command is much better, much faster than just using the the rule copy, for example. And kind of, there's no reason why you demoed it in InfoPath Designer versus Forms Designer, right? Everything that you demoed should be supported in Forms Designer, right? You just
Yes, I think so.
So we just shipped that, and we're very happy to continue to progress on both Forms Designer and Forms Designer. Forms Designer now is 6 or 7 years old. A lot of customers using it on a daily basis. We've got hundreds of thousands of forms being submitted across the US alone. Forms Designer just shipped 1.0. We've got quite a few people now starting to use it, and we really appreciate your feedback. We are continuing to add new features over the summer to it. One of the things, we're going to be launching a new version of Forms here, actually at the end of this month, with a new feature for a customer to help when you have users that you don't want them, users who don't have access to a site, but you want to query something on the site shown in Dropdown, for example. So right now there's no way to do that, and you have to give the user permission. So we're going to implement a technique so you can use managed credentials in Forms here to let users who don't have access, the forms will populate the data for those sites. That's coming, and I think that's it for the advertisement. But yeah, if you haven't used Forms here yet, please give us a call and we'll help you migrate your forms. It's the lowest cost approach to moving your forms to off of info path to the future. And there's tons of new functionality like the command you saw today, transform, and the sort command in Q roles, but also support for responsive UI. We have support for CSS and JavaScript, so you can extend your forms, make them look really good. Thank you, Qdabra, for letting me talk about that. And I guess that's it, right? Do we have anything else? Any other questions for us?
That's what we have.
Great. Great. Well, thank you very much for being here. And Qdabra, awesome job on the webinar today. I know it was a very focused topic, but I think it's really important that when you're populating dropdowns that you look at these two techniques, removing duplicates and sorting them. And very important, very, very awesome concept. And we're going to send out the information to everyone. It's a quick 3-question survey here that we'll send you momentarily. And I want to thank everyone again for being here today, and especially Qdabra for all the preparation she did for the webinar. Thank you, Qdabra.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day. Take care, everyone.